So it is a beautiful day here out in Ontario, Canada. My car says it's 11 degrees. It's supposed to go up to 18. It is sunny. Yeah. So a little bit about me. My name's Candace. I live in Ontario, Canada. More specifically closer to Hamilton, Ontario, about an hour from, or 45 minutes from Toronto. I'm 38 years old. I've been paranormal investigating since I was about 16 years old. So here are some of my experiences leading up to this point of a couple years ago of me wanting to start a YouTube page of actually documenting my experiences, or at least trying to document the things I was looking for, not just for my own experience. The one place that really got me hooked was the Shaver House, which is burnt down now. It's located in Ancaster, Ontario, or was. And that was a place that I could just feel the energy. The closer I got to it, the little path that you would drive down, it was just an overgrown path that you had to drive really slow down to get to the house. And then when you got to the house, it was just this beautiful, it would have been a beautiful mansion back in that time. It was a historic site, so it couldn't be burnt down. It was burnt down. It was protected by the city, that it couldn't be torn down or anything for new development. So they basically just kept boarding up this old historic house that teenagers like myself and other teenagers or ghost hunters or whatever would go into. They would go there to try and ghost hunt, and it was just like a cool place for people to go at night. It was spooky. I had too many experiences there. You can't tell me that our energy doesn't go somewhere after we die. So here are some of my experiences from the Shaver House. So the first experience that comes to mind is when I went there with an old boyfriend, and we were in the house. I was always in this house for at least an hour, right? Like, it was a huge house, 2 floors. Sometimes we had to go in through the basement. This particular night, we did have to go in through the basement. So we're in there for about an hour and a half, I would say, where we've been upstairs in every room investigating. We've been on the stairways. We've been on the main floors. We've been in the basement. And at this point, we're on the main floor, and there's huge wood pillars on the top of these ceilings. Like, this house was made with integrity, and it was kind of split. Like, it was the hallway, and then two big like living areas, dining room on one, living area on the other, whatever, on either side. Well, we were on the one, and I guess there was like a little room off of that room, but there was a hole in the wall, and we were standing, and I remember it was closer to where the staircase went up, and then to the staircase to the basement. And we had been in the house for about an hour and a half at this point, and I basically yell, and I say, I am not leaving here until you make a loud noise in this house. I'm not leaving here. I'll stay here all night. And I yelled it like I fucking meant business. And then all of a sudden, and I say that I don't have the recording anymore. I really wish I did, of the EVP that I had recording. But all of a sudden I say, I feel like 10 TVs just turned on in front of me. You know that feeling when, like, you could have your eyes closed and when somebody turns the TV on in front of you, you know it. You feel that energy come on. And so I said that, and not even 5 seconds later, a huge bang happens from up on the second floor. Like, huge, so hard that I actually felt it in my feet. And I actually grabbed my boyfriend at the time, because I thought, people don't really know how they're going to react in situations until it happens, and I didn't know if he was going to take off. So I grabbed him, and all of a sudden you hear him say, that did not just happen. So, like, he felt it too. He knew that something happened that was unexplainable. We were too chicken shit to go up that night to go see what had actually caused the noise, but we did go back the next day, and it looked like it was a pipe that had been thrown. It was clean cut, And like, we had been in this house multiple times. I know the random shit in the houses, like in each room. I know the pipes. I know like all the pipes were on the ground. No pipes were up, leaning up against a wall. There's no way, and there was no vibration in the house that would have caused something to fall over. Like, it just didn't make sense. And we had been in that house for over an hour, sometimes 2 hours. And that night we were in there for at least an hour, at least. And you can't hear, or you can't not hear somebody enter this house. Like, there's shit everywhere that's noisy, it's creaky, it's falling apart. Like, there's no way we wouldn't have been able to hear somebody. So that's why when, like, I say I heard a loud bang, it's not, I didn't for a second think, oh, it was a human. Nope, it wasn't a human. I know that nobody was in there. I know that. So that was experience number one, where I can't explain that. And it also happened when I asked it to. So that was a little, I yelled. I was kind of mad. I was like, I know you're in here. I feel your energy and I need you to do something. So that was experience number one. Experience number two, I was in there with my friend Joanna, and we, again, had been in there for hours, in every room, investigating like normal. We are on our way out, and at this point, we had to go in through, it was just one of the front-facing windows that had been boarded up, and the board had been taken down. So there's a little bit of glass or whatever, but we got in, and there's tons of debris on the floor, okay? Like, tons. There's nails, there's glass, there's everything. Like, you have to be careful. This is on our way back, coming, like, we're like getting ready to leave. And we're standing silent, like, we're standing still, completely still. All of a sudden, like, we're standing there because I'm just like, I don't know, I'm asking a couple more questions before we leave or whatever. And all of a sudden I hear, or I guess, well, we both hear it. It sounded almost like nails or glass had been kicked, but I thought it was just her. And then all of a sudden she is like, her head is in the back of my shoulder. Like, she is like right up against me. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong? And she's like, did you not hear that? And I was like, yeah, I heard like the glass or whatever. I thought that was you just walking and kicking shit. And she was like, no, we were both completely still. That noise happened and it scared her so badly that she just immediately like came towards me. And so that was kind of scary. But the kicker to that one, I went back and listened to my digital voice recorder. And this is at the beginning of the night, 10 minutes and 41 seconds in. There's a voice. Clear as fucking day. It says, get out. But like in a whisper, like, get out. Like, it's kind of yelling, but it's whispering. But like, I don't understand why they're always trying to fucking whisper. It's like, I know you're trying, like, it's like you're screaming, but it's like you're whispering. They could be like fucking screaming on their end, like, get out. But what I hear is, get out. You know what I mean? These are the questions. I also went to the Shaver House with a paranormal group. They were a group of guys. This was like, I was probably 17, 18. And I went with these group of guys. I think there was one chick. And we went to the Screaming Tunnel, Niagara, and we also went to the Shaver House. That's actually, I think, where I met them. I was kind of like part of the group. I don't know, for maybe a month. We were in the Shaver House the one night, and they were filming me with an infrared camera. And we were in the Shaver House, that room it was known as the baby's room. There's like this little room, and it was kind of off the other staircase, which would have been the servant quarters staircase. So we were standing in there, and I was just asking questions, and they had the camera on me. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, my arm, like my hand, my arm, like I feel like there's cold spots. And they're like, there's like tons of orbs just like around your hands and your arms. They're just like swirling around you. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. So I had a few experiences with that. We went to the Screaming Tunnel. Nothing really happened. I'm hoping that Sean, Octavia, and I can make it to the Screaming Tunnel this summer. So the story that was associated with the Shaver House that I heard as a teenager, I honestly don't even remember where I heard it from. It was just a story that I always knew of the Shaver House that I knew probably wasn't true, but again, there's got to be some truth to it, right? Because the story has to start somewhere from some truth. So what had happened, allegedly, is that Daniel Shaver lived in the house with his wife and 3 children one was a baby. So the story is that Daniel came home one day and found his wife in bed with his brother. Now, as you can imagine, Daniel didn't take this very well. He ended up killing his whole family, including his children and his brother. People also said that Daniel's brother was a priest, just to add more to the story there. So the story is Daniel came home from work one day, found his brother, who was a priest, in bed with his wife, and then he ended up killing his wife, his brother, and his 3 children. So I guess there is some energy there. Who knows how much of that story is actually true? There is a Daniel Shaver. He definitely exists. But I can't really find any information on the family. And there are other houses. There's a Shaver cemetery that actually Sean and I did investigate last summer. Hopefully I can get that footage out at some point. So when I like to investigate, I like to set up cameras to get the whole room, a shot of the whole room of where we're investigating, just so that if we have a camera that's like more focused or closed up on something else that we're doing, if something happens in, the background, which spirits like to do, I would get it on camera. And I also like to debunk things, especially with my EMF. I really like to trace the source of the EMF, because you should be able to source where the energy is coming from. You should be able to measure it. That's the whole point of the device. It's measurable, and it's measurable because it's coming from somewhere. So if you don't know where it's coming from and you can't measure it, then it's kind of unexplainable. I always like to check to make sure my modem isn't sending it off from where I have my EMF detector, where I'm asking questions. The cameras don't really give off that much power. Yeah, and then I found with investigating with multiple people is a nightmare for editing. Like, it really is. I haven't done any editing in my life before learning how to edit just for my ghost hunting videos. I downloaded 2 programs. I just wing it. There's so much more to the programs that I have no clue. I'm literally just trying to learn as I go. And the whole reason why I started the YouTube channel is basically because there's got to be other people out there that are looking for the same answers that I am, and that is basically, where do we go after we die? Do spirits know what's happening here? Do spirits know that there's basically a spiritual war going on here? Hollywood is a great example of that. Well, it's the main example of that. Are the spirits aware of what damage is actually happening here in this game on Earth that we're all playing? Just like when me and Sean were at the Spread Eagle Tavern month, and I was asking about Donald Trump, and it seemed like they were in favor of him. I won't get into my political views, besides my Buck Trudeau sticker on the back of my car. But I won't get into American politics. But yeah, the spirits seem like they were in favor of him. Now, is that because the spirits know stuff that we don't know? Or are they still just like humans, like just like me and you, who are only know what they hear around them? Or do they have this open knowledge, they just know now? Okay, so it got hot. I had to take my sweater off. But yeah, there's so many questions that I need to ask spirits. And maybe I'm just not meant to know answers to certain things, and that's fine too. The process of crossing over is pretty interesting to me. And can spirits contact aliens? Or, well, maybe not contact them, but can they see them, or can they tell which, like, if aliens can, make themselves look like human, can spirits tell which ones are the aliens? Because that would be useful. I would like to know, so that one of those aliens can take me with them to their alien planet. Some other paranormal experiences that I've had have to do with an apartment that I lived in. This apartment I started off living in alone, and I always thought that the vibe was off, and it was weird because when I first moved in, it was empty, and I was under the impression that it was empty for a while. So I didn't question it, obviously, at the beginning. But as my paranormal experiences happened, I kind of was thinking like, oh, maybe that's why. Maybe something happened there, and that's why no other tenants like moved up into that apartment, because it was a 2-bedroom on the 5th floor. It was only a 6th floor apartment building. Experiences I've had there. Well, first, this is when my boyfriend moved in with me. Maybe it was him. Okay, but anyways, so I was laying in bed at night. Was he over? Yeah, I think he was sleeping over. I don't even know if he lived there at this point. And I didn't have much on my shelf in my bedroom in the middle of the night, and it was around 3 a.m. This shelf just came down. Like, I mean, like, the nails weren't bent. It just, like, was ripped off the fucking wall. I was like, what happened? And when it happened, acknowledged that it happened, but was like, ugh, I'll deal with that tomorrow. And I didn't think, like, anything of it. But then the next day, when I started thinking more about it, I was like, that's really weird. How that, like, I try to recreate things always. Like, I'm like, no, it can't be like, I originally thought it wasn't. And then I was just like, no, that's weird. Like, why are the nails? Maybe, I don't know. But there was nothing heavy on it. So that first thing that was weird that happened. But then there were times where I was sitting in the living room just watching TV, and I would hear glasses. I would hear them slide on the cupboard, and then I would hear them fall and shatter. So I was like, okay, is the cupboard on a slant? And I was just basically trying to go through all these things to try and debunk it, try and think, no, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason why the glass just like came out of the cupboard. Maybe when I was emptying the dishwasher, I put it up too quickly and I left it too close to the edge and I didn't realize, and me walking around and the vibrations just kind of boop, 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 made it like go. But then I'm like, but I had been sitting on the couch for like a really long time, and there was nothing that I could have done that would have changed the vibrations or anything to make it slide and fall out of the cupboard. So that would happen. And then, so the main one, like the one that really, really got me, was I was sitting in my bedroom, which the door is here, and the bathroom is here. So you go into the bathroom here, or you can go into the bedroom. And then if you turned around and you went down, there was the kitchen and the living room. So I'm sitting there on my bed reading a book, and my boyfriend, I'm thinking, is in the bathroom, because all of a sudden I hear something get knocked over, and then I see, because like from where I'm sitting, like the door's there, I can see the hallway, right, from like where the bathroom is. So I see toilet paper all of a sudden just like it's rolling out, and I was like, okay, that's weird. So I immediately get up and I'm like, you know what, like thinking, what is he doing? So I get up, I'm like, what are you doing? And I look into the bathroom, nobody's there. And then I look to my left and I see him, and I'm like, okay. So, and then I look to my left and I see my boyfriend get up, because he was like, what was that noise? And I'm like, I thought you were in the bathroom. And he was like, no, I wasn't in the bathroom. So then I go into the bathroom to investigate, and I have a picture, very small bathroom. You walk in till like there's the toilet on the left side, and I have a picture above my toilet on a nail. The nail for the picture is still intact in the wall. So it was as if something lifted this picture, knocked it off the wall. It hit the basket that was on the top of the toilet with the toilet paper rolls on it. It knocked that over, and then the toilet paper rolled down the hallway. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to recreate this. I'm like, how did this happen? Like, he wasn't in the bathroom. So that was another weird experience where I couldn't create that. I couldn't recreate it. Also in that apartment, I would lose things. Like, I have a pretty good memory. When I'm thinking of where I left something, I can usually picture exactly like from it's like I take a picture every time I put something somewhere. So I can usually think back, oh, okay, I see it in my head where it is. I know where it is. In that apartment, I would go back to where I thought I left it, not there. And then the funny thing is sometimes it would show up where I left it. And other times it would show up in places I know for fucking sure I did not fucking leave it there. So yeah, I've had I've had weird experiences. Another weird experience that I've had, this was before all those experiences. Actually, it was probably in the middle, like within the shaver experiences. My mom passed away when I was 18 from breast cancer, and she had this ring. It's a dove ring. I still have it. And I was wearing it that day, and I had like, those shag, it's kind of like a shag rug. And so when you drop something on that rug, like it was always a pain to clean, because if I dropped stuff in it, I'd have to shake it to get everything out, because stuff would like get stuck in it on that rug. And I was like, oh, so I was like, where the hell did it go? I'm like, did it bounce somewhere? I'm looking under my bed. I'm like, and this is a pretty big room that I had. So I'm looking everywhere, and directly like from where I'm, like if I was sitting on my bed with my legs off my bed looking like at the wall, there's like the wall there, like not much, like there's nowhere this ring could have gone that I couldn't have found it, okay? And then it was a couple days later, and like I'm still upset about this. A couple days later, I'm walking, so where I dropped the ring would have been like here, and then my bed is here. So if you walked there and around my bed, and then I had a desk that was against the wall. So the ring's here, the desk is on the other side adjacent, and it's up against the wall, okay? I go, for some reason, I had the urge, the instinct to go down and to go on my knees and look underneath there, and the ring was up against the wall under that desk where the chair goes. I was like, there's no way that ring ended up there. There's no way. So was that my mother? Was that a spirit? Was that a spirit guide? I can't even remember what I was thinking or feeling at the time when that happened, that I would have maybe was supposed to get a message from. Like, I don't even know. That was an experience that could have had to do with my mother. Second experience that could have had to do with my mother is me and my sister went to a Justin Timberlake Out of the Woods concert in Toronto, and I brought just a clutch purse, okay? And I just had basically my cards and my money. So whatever, it's the next day, okay? It's the next day, and I'm going through my clutch just to make sure that I get everything out of my little small purse that I want to put back in my wallet and stuff that I use every day. And I'm going through, and all my change, I'm telling you, all my change from that night, you know how like there's like a divider? All my change is on one side of that divider, and on the other side of that divider is one quarter. What kind of quarter is it? It's a breast cancer quarter. It's a quarter with a breast cancer ribbon on it. And all I'm thinking to myself is that my mother saying like, I was with you guys last night. Like I was there. It's just the weirdest. I've had too many. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences. I also remember having this experience when I was a kid and I was in my bed, and I remember being woken up. Like I was already in my bed, I was asleep on my back, and I remember being woken up by the bounce of me on my bed. And it was like, it was weird because it was like I was stiff as a board because the whole, like I was straight when I bounced. And it was just weird. It was like I was sleeping, and it was like I was levitated as I was sleeping, and then I was dropped, and immediately when I bounced on the bed is when I woke up, and it's like I woke up mid-air, mid-bounce. It was really weird. That could be, I guess, if I astral traveled and that was me just coming back into my body and I kind of woke up at that exact moment. But that was kind of weird. It kind of felt like the bounce woke me up, not I woke up mid-bounce or mid-entry into my body and it felt like a bounce. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Has anybody experienced anything like that? I haven't experienced anything like sleep paralysis. I haven't experienced anything like that where I felt like I was half in, half out of my body, or that there was something pulling me or keeping me from speaking or breathing. I haven't had any experiences like that. But I think if you're aware, if you just make yourself aware of the power you have over your body, and I think when you're aware that it's you just woke up when your spirit was trying to get back in your body after its astral travels. You just need to chill the fuck out. But I think once you're aware of that and you truly believe it, I think that you're subconsciously, then when it's gonna happen, your brain will be like, oh no, it's not this, I know it's this. I don't know, so I've never had it, so I can't tell you. But has anybody watching, have you had sleep paralysis, and what is that like, and what are you doing to cope with that? But Daniel Shaver, I don't know if he was actually a bad guy or not. Did he kill his family? I don't know. I can't find any articles that say that he killed his family. So have you experienced anything weird, paranormal? I would love to hear about it. Drop it in the comments below.